that wonderful introduction. As college students, I'm sure all of you have had negative thoughts running through your mind at some point. Whether it was how you're going to write this speech of conviction, or seeing your billing statement email from B Central for the first time, or how to possibly juggle a social life, schoolwork, family, and extracurriculars, we've all been there. Steve Rizzo, a personal development expert and author of Attitude Adjuster, stated that when you allow outside circumstances to determine your happiness, your natural state of peace deteriorates. With that being said, how one chooses to direct their negative thoughts can either minimize or magnify the effect that it will have on them. For me, the fundamentals in learning how to curb negative emotions came through being part of a sport. In order for you to fully understand how negative thoughts can hinder your well-being, I will explain the effects that positive thoughts can have on you through my experience teaching tennis lessons. Now, I come from a very tennis-enthused family. I've been playing tennis ever since I was really little. My parents coached tennis for 26 years at Comanche. My brother was on a nationally ranked tennis team, and my aunt was my high school tennis coach. So being part of this tennis family, I was able to learn a lot about the sport in my lifetime, which in turn helped me be able to coach others in my hometown of Clinton, Iowa. My family and I run the Tennis Parks and Rec program there, teaching children ages 5 to 18. And so every summer for the past 4 years I have been doing this, and I have taught every Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning until 3:30, usually at night. But two summers ago was different. During this summer I met a 9-year-old named Madison, who was new to our program, and she was very small for her age and didn't really stand out among the rest in terms of athletic ability. Her self-esteem was also very low, and it affected the way she conducted herself during practices, and she always carried a negative persona everywhere she went. She showed up each day with her head slumped over and her shoulders always low, and she would always complain that she couldn't do the drills that we asked of her. And ultimately, she wouldn't play to her fullest potential because it showed out on the court. My favorites were when she would stomp around, throw a racket, or she'd miss a shot and put her hands up on her face, and it was oh my gosh. But I could also see how this was affecting others in the process, because they would either follow suit with what Madison was doing, or they would gawk at her in the process. So, by comparison, according to the class survey, all of you said that having a low self-esteem can inhibit positive outlooks and growth. At the same time, my family and I thought so too. So we confronted her and told her that she needed to think positive thoughts if she wanted any chance of improving. The Counseling and Mental Health Center at the University of Texas stated that experiences during childhood play a large role in the shaping of self-esteem. When growing up, our successes, failures, and how we were treated by our family, teachers, coaches, and peers all contribute to the creation of our self-esteem. In concentrating our energy on what wasn't working, Madison never gave herself a chance to learn from coaches that were willing to help. Her perception of even the good shots were distorted by negative thoughts. We told her that she needed to channel this positive energy through these thoughts, even when things during her matches would go south. Nevertheless, I know that in both life and tennis, people dwell on the errors we make and the points we miss. In Madison's case, she was focusing on what she was doing wrong in a match and ended up frustrating herself even more. She, in essence, was mentally beating herself up until her concentration faltered and could no longer function to her ability. Okay, to give an example, as Americans, I'm sure all of you have seen the Disney show Winnie the Pooh and can identify who Eeyore is. Trying to reminisce, you probably can recall that cloud that always hung above his head and the rain that poured out on most days. This negative attitude was hard on Winnie, always saying things like, "This will never work," or "Who am I kidding anyway?" or "Why can I never get a break?" My advice, don't get caught up in the Eeyore syndrome. Remember, thoughts just don't happen. They're something we create, and therefore we are able to direct them. When something upsetting happens, it's your thoughts that determine your success. Mark Hansen, an author and co-founder of Chicken Soup for the Soul, states that in order to have a new attitude, you have to change your subconscious thinking by analyzing every thought you have until positive thinking becomes a habit. We saw this habit taking shape in Madison after we talked to her. She started improving drastically on and off the court, and started beating most of the girls she couldn't before. And she was also more enjoyable to be around. Therefore, she got a wider friend group, and that it was including myself. In the survey, all of you stated that having a positive attitude can be infectious, and I couldn't agree more. Seeing how much she improved, I was proud of her, and I knew that she had the potential to be great. That summer, she placed first in her first tournament ever, and she asked to play with me on the weekends, and she became one of my best students through the reinforcement of positive thoughts when times got hard. The University of Wisconsin Hospitals and Clinics Authority said that research shows that when you are surrounded by positive people, we're much more likely to achieve our own goals. When these goals around us help us feel good about ourselves, it's easier to be successful in our own goals. In Madison's case, and in many others I have seen come through the program, the power of positivity can change someone's whole outlook on life. For the same reason, every day can become a learning experience. Whether it's getting a bad grade on a math exam or not getting any job offers from the careers fair, learn from these faults and that positive attitude as a driving force for betterment. The choice is yours whether or not you want to be the victim or the victor. As I look back on how my experience teaching tennis has affected my life, it makes me realize just how important it is to always look on the brighter side of things. You will have negative energy try to take your positive energy, but when you are locked in with positive thoughts, like a magnet, that energy is pushed away. You control the thought processes that you manage every day as well. It may take effort and work, but you have the ability to conquer any mountain with an amazing amount of energy that cannot be stolen once you find your inner motivator. So, in the words of my tennis coach, no matter if you lose 1 point or 10, you have to just look up into the blue sky and say, "What the hell?" and move on.